Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is George Dingledye, Wabash Carnegie Public Library Oral History Program, interviewing Larry T. Jamerson, 700 Street, on Tuesday night, July 30th, 1985. Okay, Larry, let's try it again. Okay, Larry, I think the first question I'm going to ask you is a little bit about your background, and tell me who your mom and dad are and their parents, and then a little bit about yourself and where you went to high school and when you graduated, and just continue the narrative, how we got to the Army and all that.
All right.
Now, I apologize for the 20 minutes that we didn't get.
Are you sure it's working this time?
Yeah.
I was born July 8th, 1948, here in Wabash County Hospital. I've lived Wabash County all my life, except for the time I was in the service. Parents are Lawrence Edward, and mother's Wilma Jane. Her maiden name is Petrie. My grandparents on mother's sides, Ralph and Minnie Petrie. And parents on my dad's sides, Delbert and Vera Jamerson. Let's see.
What year did you graduate?
Graduated in 1966. And
yeah. Vietnam was starting to heat up. And
yes, it was heating up, and it was always on my mind at school. It was easier the first time.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we're getting it this time. Okay, and maybe we can take some of the externals out this time. So you decide that you're going to do what? You're going to go to college, and
well, they kept talking about ending the war, and I was always hoping for the best. I thought maybe if I went to school for a little bit, the war would be over.
Mm-hmm.
I first went to Manchester College in the fall of '66. I was working at the plane dealer at the time. And I tried to do both, go to school and work, and I couldn't do it. And it was too much for me. And then I tried going to a computer school in Fort Wayne. Kind of liked that, but there wasn't any chance of getting a job with my draft status at that time. And about 2 weeks before I was supposed to be drafted, I thought it was time to I better enlist. And I remember going up to the Memorial Hall and talking to the recruiters. I was looking for the Air Force and Navy recruiter, but they already had their quotas. The Army and Marine recruiters were there, and they were really anxious. And I asked for anything to get me out of Vietnam, and the Army recruiter told me they had a program called the Army Security Agency. He said there is no security agency at Vietnam, but he said it was a 4-year program. And I said, sounds good to me. So I enlisted. And in June, middle of June '68, left for basic at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And so I remember they gave us some tests down there and gave us 5 choices of what we liked. And they still gave us what they liked. And I got Morse Code interceptor. After basic, I went to AIT then at Fort Devens, Massachusetts. And I was there from September to March of '69.
What are you learning at Fort Devens?
At Fort Devens, we were just learning, picking up our speed on our Morse code.
Yeah. Had you taken Morse Code down at Fort Leonard Wood, or was that?
No, I was just plain basic.
Straight
just
infantry
straight
basic?
Yes.
Yeah. That happens to be the same place I took infantry basic, so you probably guarded the same water tower, and you did the same things. I'm sure the same barracks are still there.
Probably are. Well,
Yeah.
we were in the Quonset huts.
Yeah.
Oh no, they had new barracks there.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember the old company barracks there by the water tower, and still, that was 40 years ago. And then intensive Morse Code training
Right.
on receiving, not sending, correct?
Receiving, right.
Hold on. We're getting it.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about Fort Devens, Mass.
Fort Devens.
Yeah.
Remember the winters were really bad up there.
Yeah.
And let's see, right after finished training there at Fort Devens, had a 2 weeks leave. I got married during that 2 weeks, March '69. Then I left for Petaluma, California for a little bit of orientation for Vietnam. And well, I guess I was home a little longer than that. I think I was home about a month then.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a month because we were gone a year in Vietnam, so they gave us a month off at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see, I think it was about the middle of May, they shipped us off to Vietnam, and what do I talk about here?
Well, let's
see.
talk about going over from Oakland on that airplane.
Oakland?
Yeah.
Well, I remember the plane we left on. I never heard of the airlines, the Seaboard Airways.
Uh-huh.
I just hoped they'd get us over there.
Uh-huh. And you,
Remember the thing, how loaded it was, how loaded to the maximum it was. Because we landed at Guam. I remember the pilot telling us all to be sure to buckle up when we left Guam because the plane was loaded to the maximum, and the runway runs uphill,
uh-huh.
and at the end of the runway it just cliffed into the water.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he was trying to scare us or what, but we all buckled up. It was an 18-hour flight over there. I remember I had a seat that wouldn't fold back, and I kind of felt about like an astronaut. And I landed in Bin Wall,
Tonson, yeah.
No. They put us up in some barracks for the rest. And we got in early in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. When you're looking out the window, the plane, you could see flashes over the countryside. And kind of made chills go down your back. You know, you wondered if you'd be in there pretty soon. And I think some of the first impressions getting off the plane was the smell, the humid, musty, just awful smell. Mm. You got used to it after a while, but we were supposed to give us, put us in these bunks for the rest of the night so we could get some sleep. And I remember the biggest impression I got was the next morning when I saw Mama-san going through the garbage can. And I made a comment to somebody passing by, the poor lady there. I thought maybe she was mentally ill or something, going through the garbage can like that. And he said, "You must be new." He said, "That's what we're fighting for over here." He says, "A whole country of them." And he went on to explain about Army dump, and he said that Army dump, they open it up at 5, or they open it up at daylight, and they close it at dusk. When they close it, they have to gas it every night to get the people out of there. And it's really hard to believe people living like dogs, but I saw them living in Coke pallets, or just big pallets, cardboard pallets. They live in them, and it's really hard to believe.
Mm-hmm. These were in the big cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what was your first assignment in Vietnam?
I remember we spent about week and a half in transit. I ended up in Saigon during that week, and from Saigon I went to Dong Tam. I stayed with a radio research group attached to the 9th Infantry Division there at Dong Tam. I was there about 4 months. It was a very confined area. I about went nuts.
Mm-hmm.
That was the 9th Division was the first group that they released from Vietnam, and so 9th Division, when the 9th Division went home, we were attached to another group, so we were moving around for a little bit. We went from Dong Tam to Xi'an. They were there a couple months, and then we were sent down in the Delta, attached to a group down in the Delta. And down the Delta, we lived downtown. Our company had its own hotel, a French-style building with walkways around the outside. It was 4 stories. We had our club and theater up on the roof. That's where I spent the remaining months in Vietnam. Yeah. It was right across from a shell station. That part was almost like back home.
A regular gas station?
Regular Shell gas station.
Yeah. What exactly was what were your duties, and what were you supposed to be doing? Now, you had this intensive training in Morse Code.
Morse Code.
Okay. Then what happened?
We just monitored communications from Hanoi all the way down through the people out in the jungles.
Mm-hmm.
Their method of communication was Morse Code.
Mm-hmm. They didn't use any voice contact there?
That wasn't our job, and
Yeah.
I really don't know if they did or not.
Yeah. But they were sophisticated enough to have equipment that they were using Morse Code. And,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course, they can make those things out of anything. Just junk out get at the Army bases.
Mm-hmm.
I remember at Dong Tam when they pulled the 9th Division away. When we would pick these guys up, when we would copy the Morse Code, everybody was assigned a certain group to look for. They'd find them on certain frequencies, certain times. And when we would find them, our trick chief, would get on the phone and call ARDF, which was directional finding. And they flew about an hour during each shift, and they tried to locate they knew who they were by the call signs and make sure see if they'd been moving around. I remember one time I asked Trick Chief, how come they don't blow them up? And he said, well, they just change their call signs, and then you'd have to find out all over again who they were and where they were, and so they just leave them alone.
Does that sound logical to you now in retrospect?
Well, yeah, that would, but what I was going to get at here was when we finally left the Delta, they had no more use for them. And I thought that was the most fun we had for about 2 or 3 days there. Right beside us was artillery. And for a couple of days we just had a ball. We'd find anybody. We'd call the ARDF, they get a fix on them, and then we'd take the fix and radio it over to the artillery. And a few minutes, when the man would go down, and we'd hurry up and find another guy. We had a ball then.
Yeah.
Of course, all you were shooting at was the antenna. They could be 100 yards away or whatever.
Yeah.
All you were shooting at would be the antenna, but they might be out in a sampan too.
Yeah. Did this surprise you? Hear that from talking to the other veterans and everything else, that we talk about these people running around in their pajamas and their intense as far as conducting a war. But here now you're telling me that they have sophisticated equipment and they're
You said
transmitting.
sophisticated equipment. It really doesn't take much to make one of those
Morse code.
Morse code. I mean, anything to make a little noise.
Yeah.
That's not like sending a voice.
Yes.
And they can make them out of junk.
Yeah.
Just most of them were just pieces of junk.
Yeah. I'll be done. Were they transmitting in what language? And
It was all coded.
yeah, it was all.
System numbers.
Yeah, and you would take it down, and assuming that if somebody was reading it back in the rear echelon, or
We knew most of it was not. They couldn't translate it, but there was some of it that they could, and a very small percentage of it, I think, that they could actually decode. Mostly, what they did was keep track of the messages. They'd follow it with the radio research groups copying it, coming down out of Vietnam. They could follow the same messages going all the way down through the country, down to the units. And they could usually tell just by the volume of messages and the length of them if something was up.
how did they explain to you that you had enlisted for 4 years in Army security and that you weren't supposed to go to Vietnam?
Well, after I was in Vietnam, I didn't have to explain to me. I understood it.
Yeah. Did you feel like you'd sort of been ripped off?
Oh,
or-
yeah.
Yeah. And there
That wasn't the only time I was ripped off in the service.
What else happened?
Well, after Vietnam, we'd put in for our next duty station.
Yeah.
I remember
Hi, Ron.
I remember putting in for Petaluma, California, because I kind of liked it out there.
That's on your way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got it, and so I got home. I took my month leave and we loaded up everything we had in a U-Haul trailer and headed out to Petaluma, California. And we did 4 or 5 days out there. Had a nice little trip. We got there, and I said, "Did you know you were transferred?" I said, "That's not funny."
Yeah.
And I found out later, well, they told me when I went to check in that I was transferred to Warrenton, Virginia.
All the way back across the country?
All the way back across the country.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me 5 days and $200 across the country.
Yeah.
So here I was, my wife and the trailer and everything we had in the trailer, headed back across the country.
Why did they do that? Now, what was their reasoning there?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Getting back to Vietnam, were you ever shelled on any of these particular areas that you were stationed in, the 3 different areas that you were stationed?
In Dong Tam, we were mortared or rocketed at least once every night, just almost routine. In Xi'an, I didn't see anything. Xi'an, I saw lightning hit a 55-gallon drum of napalm at Xi'an.
Uh-huh.
The biggest ball of flames I ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I remember down in Can Tho, they were starting to get some rockets when I left. In fact, on my last night in the country, we were rocketed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was beginning to get scared then. I was pretty close to going home.
Yeah. Now this is where you lived in the old French hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were rocketed. At that time, we were on base.
Yeah.
We were rocketed base.
Yeah.
They usually left us alone. The community there in Can Tho made so much money off of the GIs.
Yes.
It was pretty safe because most of that money went back to support the Viet Cong anyway.
Mm-hmm. Were you allowed free access to the community and everything?
Oh yeah, they wanted your money
Yeah.
because that supported their war.
Yeah. Yeah. In Vietnam, did you come across any rats or snakes or anything like that stick out in your mind?
I remember in Dong Tam, when we got ready to leave, they took the paneling off the walls. It was a secret area, a top secret area, and they took all the paneling off and burned it in case somebody wrote something on there. And that left an open space in the wall there. And I remember one time looking down, seeing a spider, biggest spider I'd ever seen in my life, big fuzzy thing, about 8 inches in diameter. And I remember when that thing took off, so did I.
Yeah.
And one of the guys grabbed a broom and swung at it, and flipped it across the room, and the whole room emptied. We just took off.
Yeah.
And I finally killed it.
Yeah.
Biggest thing I'd ever seen. And one time in Can Tho, I was on guard duty. I had a night shift, and I remember looking out. I thought I spotted a cat, and I started walking towards it. And the closer I got, I recognized it was a rat. The biggest rat I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
It was bigger than any cat.
Yeah. Your experiences then in Vietnam, you would say, were pleasant, unpleasant, average, below average?
Well, that hotel was pretty nice. We had, I mean, it was right downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say for the second half of the year anyway, it was above average.
Yeah. Everybody had a private room?
No, we, let's see, at least 2 man rooms, I believe,
Yeah.
that I remember right now.
But they were using hotel furniture and everything, not the Army issue?
That was Army issue, just,
yeah. And you had your own bath and eating facilities and all that?
well, to eat, we had to be trucked in. We were trucked in on base to eat. We were trucked every place.
Yeah.
Trucked over, trucked back.
Yeah.
They had a regular taxi service.
Yeah. And what would your job be, 8 hours a day? And
We had 8 hours a day. It was a rotating shift like they have down here in Container. And through the year over there, it just depended on the manpower. It varied from 2 days on, 1 day off to about 30 days on, 1 day off.
yeah. And still just sitting there listening to messages for 8 hours a day?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you sandbag?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
One nice thing about it, when I say maybe above average, was all the electronic equipment we worked around. We were the only people that actually really used their field jackets in Vietnam, because it would really get cold in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're in the Can Tho where we worked. We were in an old Special Forces bunker, and it had walls about 6 feet thick.
Uh-huh.
And they turned the air conditioner on, and it was about 50 in there, 55, 60 in there.
Yeah.
And it got pretty cool. Kind of hard to sleep sometimes.
Yeah. Were you bored, really?
Bored?
Yeah.
Oh, it was kind of nice. You always had friends. You always had your little group friends.
Mm-hmm.
I like that part, I think.
Were they unnecessarily, would you say unnecessarily cautious, as the Army usually is, on their secret material? Or, you find out that this was really not that top secret, the stuff that you were doing?
I never noticed that. I didn't get into that. I just did my job and went back, partied.
Yeah.
We thought more of that than we did at work, just put our day in at work.
Yeah. Was your pay adequate then for what you wanted?
Pay was, you could save money in Vietnam.
Yeah. You still you
But
had
you
enough
could
money
spend
to
it, too.
drink and enjoy yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great. How did the South Vietnamese treat you? Basically, I'd say.
Well, in Can Tho, they were real friendly because they wanted your money. Of course, that's all they were after. That's all you ever saw, is they wanted your money.
Yeah.
And they were always friendly, but I don't know. Most of the population was, I don't know, kind of pathetic. Seems like it was hard to really hard to put yourself on the same level as them.
And that part is interesting. How about, was your training adequate, do you think?
For what I did, yes.
Yeah. Your basic was, for what you were doing and everything. Were you conscious of any protests
Oh, yes.
before you went over?
Yes.
Where?
You mean in the States? You mean
Yeah.
like Berkeley and...
Yeah. Were
Yeah.
you conscious of that? And was there a feeling in Fort Devens or anything like that there were people on the outside that would help you if you wanted to go to Canada and stuff like that?
One black kid in our company, I believe he was from Nashville or some big southern city. I think he was pretty sure he was from Nashville. This is on our way between Devens and Petaluma. While he was home, he was downtown shopping, and he had his uniform on. He was proud of being in the service, and he was just shopping. He was walking down the street, and then down the street came this protest march. Well, here he was in his uniform, and he didn't know what to do. So this one store had the glass windows that kind of go in like Beitman's.
Yeah.
Do down here. That was down here, and he got in just as far as he could and hoped that nobody would see him. Well, they saw him, and they threw a Molotov cocktail in there, and he ended up in the hospital with some burns and cuts.
Huh.
So yeah, we knew about it.
Yeah. Was anyone trying to induce you to leave or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. Did you find anything in the Army that was any underground there that there was discontent and so forth?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No, nothing like
Nothing.
that. Yeah. How about the blacks? What? I ask everybody the same question. What
Blacks?
What were your
Well, the
relations?
blacks, we had some blacks in our company. Blacks sprinkled among whites, you can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
But you put them together,
Yeah.
you get the blacks together, and they just personality change altogether. We had a few blacks in our company, and we got along great with them.
Mm-hmm.
They were outnumbered.
Mm-hmm. But when you get a big group of
but
them?
when we got, you go on base, and I remember one time walking to the PX, and here came a group of about a dozen of them walking together, and I wasn't going to walk through them or around them. I walked away from them.
Yeah. I think that has formed a lot of opinions today. Of course, you'd miss out on anything like fragging or anything like that. That certainly wouldn't be going on in an intelligence group.
I didn't see anything like that.
I would imagine, this is interesting also, I would imagine that the guys in your group, the men in your group, would be above average intelligence.
Most of them, a lot of them had college,
Yeah.
2-3 years of college.
Yeah. To assimilate
Did
the
the same thing
information.
I did.
Yeah.
Of course, most of them got the same story I got.
Yeah. 4 years and you'll never go to Vietnam, huh? How about drugs?
All
Let's
over the place.
let's start with the simple marijuana and stuff like that.
It was great.
Alcohol, plenty of alcohol.
Oh, alcohol. The water was terrible.
Yeah,
Too much chlorine.
yeah.
Gave you the
Runs.
runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there was plenty of beer and liquor
Always beer.
available. Yeah, no rationing or anything like that. It was free and easy
No,
available.
you had to pay
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, but I mean,
It was-
there was nobody was rationed to 2 bottles a day or anything like that.
no.
Yeah. Was it available on the outside when you'd go into the bars and so forth?
More so. Yeah.
More so.
Well, they had more beer than we had.
American brands?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They black market.
Yeah.
You get all you want.
Yeah.
We were offered to join the black market at one
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Once upon a time there.
And
We turned them down.
yeah. How about
It kind of surprised us, the connections that they had. One lady told us that we had cards. We could only buy about 2 cases a month or 1 case a month, I forget, on a ration card. And we told them that we can only buy so much a month. This girl told us, no sweat, says my uncle runs the PX. Just tell him I sent you and he won't punch your card. So.
Did you?
No, we didn't.
Yeah. This will bring up other questions that we're going to talk about later. Rest and recreation. You get R&R at all?
Yes, I met my wife in Hawaii.
And for how long?
I was at 2 weeks, I believe.
2 weeks, yeah. And
beautiful there.
Yeah. 2 weeks in Hawaii in the middle of the war.
Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it? And the cost was yours, or?
Transportation. Wife got a discount, of course, going out there. Of course, my transportation was free.
Mm-hmm.
And everything we did was discounted.
Yeah. Obviously enjoyed it. Agent Orange. Were you ever exposed to Agent Orange?
Don't think so.
Have you ever taken the test?
No.
These are questions we're popping at you one after another. Reparations. Should we make reparations to the Vietnamese, or what we call them North Vietnamese now, or Arvins, or what is it? The North Vietnamese.
Well, all of them,
Yeah.
Arvin.
Yeah, it's North Vietnam or whatever, Communist Vietnam or whatever you want to call it. Should we make reparations? Should we help them like we have Korea, Japan, Germany, Italy, you name it, and we've pumped the money into the economy? And that's what they're asking now.
Just being over there, those people, I think they're better off under communism because the way they are, their culture, it hasn't changed in centuries.
Yes.
And I don't think we're going to do it.
We're not going to make that much difference.
We're not going to make that much difference. They'd be better off somebody telling them what to do. I felt that way.
So in other words, there's no sense of us going in there and letting
they're better
them pump
off.
it up. Yeah. Have you joined any veterans organizations?
No.
Why?
Oh, sometimes I feel they're playing on the apathy. Just let it die.
Yeah. Have you ever had any? Have you seen the memorial in Washington?
No.
Have you any desire to see it?
Oh, if I'm there, I suppose I might sing it. I have joined the American Legion, but
You're not active.
yeah, just an American Legion.
Yeah.
That's the only organization.
Do you go to a meeting or anything?
No.
Yeah. You just take advantage of the bar and.
Right.
Yeah. How about other guys your age? Do you relate pretty well to other Vietnam veterans, or you don't know many of them, or you don't care one way or the other?
I wouldn't say Vietnam veterans as such. Maybe I'd say more like guys my age, or of course this is my hometown, and I'd say just relate to him more as a hometown person than a Vietnam veteran.
Yeah. Do you feel comfortable around other veterans? Or?
Yeah, I went over there.
Yeah. You should. You should feel comfortable. Heck yeah. Well, now in retrospect, here we're 10 years after the war is over, and we're still arguing about whether we're going to be allowed in to see if there's any more missing in action and POWs and stuff like that. And then you contrast it with a person going through the garbage dump, your initial impression and the odors and everything else. Now, in this long view that you're looking back, what do you think, really? We could have won it, we should have won it?
Oh, there's no doubt we could have won the war. It was awful the way I've read articles in the paper, and I agree with them. There's no doubt we could have won the war.
Mm-hmm.
not sure what you want here.
Well, I just your impressions. Why didn't we win it? Or
Well, I remember being told that not to shoot at anybody unless you got permission, and that really, you'd be dead by then.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
That really tells you how the wars ran over there.
Mm-hmm.
And the black market, and the money we poured in over there. You knew there was a lot of politics in it.
Yeah.
Politics every place.
Yeah. You missed the Tet offensive, though, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That wasn't too funny. You keep up with any of the guys that you were in the service with at all? Correspond or see them or anything?
A few of them, not very many. There's one in Illinois. I just went over and saw him last year. First time I'd seen him in 10 years. But we got kind of close to his family, him and his wife, and me and my wife, and we were in Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And another, not so much the guys I knew in Virginia, but as we got together with the families back home, we got closer to them.
Yeah. Did you have to serve 4 years?
No, I got an early out.
Yeah.
Served 3 years, 7 months, and 2 days.
I didn't even ask you when you came back from Vietnam. You went to
Petaluma, California.
yeah, and then back to
Virginia. Did I get that one?
yeah. You tell me that.
I think I did get that one.
Yeah, and then you spent the rest of the time in Virginia.
Yeah, Manassas. Well, we lived in Manassas. The base is actually closer to Warrenton, Virginia, but we lived in Manassas, Virginia,
Yeah.
which is 40 miles west of Washington.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do?
I did the same thing I did in Vietnam. They had these amazing recordings, like this little tape here records one freak.
Mm-hmm.
These tapes recorded 100 freaks.
Mm-hmm.
And we just hooked our radios up to those and did the same thing we did in Vietnam.
What were you recording?
Copied the same guys we copied in Vietnam.
Oh, really? You were copying them all the way here in the United States?
Yeah.
The equipment was that sophisticated that
Yes,
you could?
it was.
What the hell did they send you to Vietnam for? You wonder? Did you wonder then when you?
No, you get used to that kind of stuff in the service.
Yeah. Here you guys were out there, and they're doing were they duplicating it all during the war? When you were in Vietnam, they were duplicating.
I don't know, George. I don't know.
Yeah. That's amazing that they could.
I believe they were.
Yeah. That's amazing that the communications would be that good that they could pick up some guy with a crummy little homemade Morse Code outfit, and they could pick them all the way up in Washington, in Virginia.
No, they record them on tape just like that.
Yeah. Oh, they recorded on tape and then send it back.
And sent it over there. But what was amazing was the recorders.
Yeah.
These tapes were about. In fact, a lot of them were made by Honeywell.
Yeah.
And these recorders could record 100 freaks on one side.
Mm-hmm.
And they had recordings on both sides of the tape.
Yeah.
But you just hook your radio in, the same radio as we had in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Just hook your radio into it, and we'd search for our guys, just like we did over there, for the same people, for the same call signs, all that.
But you were actually picking up Vietnam in Virginia.
Well, it was the same signal. They'd recorded it in Vietnam and sent it over.
Okay. How far behind were you? 2 days, 5 days?
I'm not sure, George. I don't know.
Well, what would the value of that tape be by this time?
I just did my job. I didn't ask too many questions. I really didn't care.
I mean,
I had kind of that attitude.
Yeah. But doesn't it appear sort of strange that?
Well, the whole thing was.
Yeah, it was strange. Yeah, but it sounds sort of strange that you would be recording a tape, and hell, it'd have no value. I wouldn't think it would, anyhow.
Well, it must, because there was a bunch of us there.
Yeah. But I don't know. You talk to people that have been in intelligence and everything else, and then you read this stuff and everything else, and they say that they have intelligence left over from World War II in Korea, which they've never really got around to using yet. You know, and really, basically, I guess it's for the historian now.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd think they'd be further up to date than that. Well, that's rather interesting. Then you stayed on and got out, and then came back to Wabash and resumed your career here.
Yes, I remember getting out of the Army. I was glad to get out, very glad to get out. I always wondered what I was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Got a job at Fort Meter Box. I was home about 2 weeks. Times were good then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bought a house. Yeah, it's about a year after I started Fort Meter Box. I saw an ad for a postal test,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Vietnam veterans preference.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought no harm in trying, so I took it, and I got a good score on it, and that's where I'm at today.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy it?
Very much. I really appreciate it. I've always felt that Vietnam was a poor man's war, and my dad couldn't afford to send me to school, and I was trying to work and go to school, and too much in my mind, I couldn't do it. But some guys didn't have to worry about it. Their parents had enough money to send them to school,
College.
stay out of it. And then you don't want to, if you try to tack school on to your Army career, then you're talking about 4 or 6, 8 years. And
Mm-hmm.
most guys don't want to wait that long.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been in the post office?
So I really appreciate the fact that I was able to get this job. I really appreciate my job.
Yeah.
I started in March of '73. So
Very
with
good.
my service now, I got over 15 years in, 13 and a half years in civil service.
Great. Great. Well, you think of anything else we've missed?
Not offhand.
Yeah. This is George Dingledye at Wabash Carnegie Public Library.